Hey, welcome to Deer Corner. Glad to see you back. Got to get out, get some stands, get some tree limbs cleaned up um, so we can get to them. Got one stand about 30 yards away. There's a tree fell down. And it's across the path, the in and out the deer use to go by that stand. And they've been diverted and been going around. It's kind of hard to hunt that stand because the stand's been there 10 years. And they've been using the same trail in and out for 10 years. I know the stand's been there and they've been using. But since the tree fell across, it kind of diverted them. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the center out of that tree so they start going up back and forth their old routine. But that brought up another question that I've seen and heard people talk about on YouTube, and that's when's the proper time to go to the stand. And the real answer to that is there isn't one. There is not a proper time to go into a deer stand. There's a wrong time to go into a deer stand, but not a proper time. For the average deer hunter, 3-4 weeks before deer season, they run out, they throw a food plot out, put some game cameras up, and get ready to hunt. And I'm fine with that. I don't have no problem with that at all, as long as they're enjoying themselves and they're out there doing it. And I'm fine with that. But I have enough stands out and hunting ground and property that it takes me pretty well all summer long to keep up with it. So I'm out in the woods a lot. And I do a lot of my own scouting, putting my cameras up and knowing the routine of my deer. And last year I took 3 deer, 2 bucks and a doe, and that was between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. That's the time I took them doe, midday. Now that's not saying I didn't see deer in the morning and I didn't see deer in the evening. That's just the time the deer I chosen to take came about, and that's when I took them. But again, I'm not a trophy hunter. I hunt for the meat. I get the biggest deer I can get. But that's me. But yeah, I could sit there, drink my coffee, eat my breakfast, watch TV, look at my watch, it's 10 a.m. Them deer come through at 2. I need to get out there and get in the stand. Yeah, I could do that. But I don't. I love being in the woods. I go in the early morning and I leave in the evening. I like being out there all day long, just to be out in the woods. I just like doing it. But getting back to it, what I mean by the wrong time to go to your stand, and that's going to your stand too early in the morning. Now, I don't know if you ever noticed it or thought about it. And you take a body of water, and if you're up early enough in the morning, you look across that water and you see that fog, that mist. And what that is the warm water evaporating coming up and the cold air coming down, causing an air pocket right there to where that moisture can't warm up or evaporate enough to rise. And in the woods, it's the same way. You got the warm ground coming up, but there isn't that much moisture than there is water, so sometimes you don't really notice it. But the evaporation out of that ground coming up and the cold air pushing down, you have the same type of layer in the woods. Now, if you go in too early and you're sitting in the stand, your scent is being pushed down into that layer, and it's starting to accumulate in that layer. It's not evaporating and going up or going out. It's being pushed down and starts condensing in that layer. So if you picture yourself an hour before sunup, and how much your scent has been pushed down and condensed in an area, you'll be surprised how big of an area it spreads. Because it's not going up, it's just spreading out in that area. And till the sun comes up and heats it up, and heats the air up, and then the evaporation begins to where that moisture air starts rising. But if you just consider how, if you're there an hour early before the sun comes up, you're sitting in that stand, and that cold air pushing your scent down, and it's concentrated in that thin area, that thin layer. Your scent's going to be on the leaves, the ground, the trees, in that area, and it is spread out. And I know myself, I've been in the stand too early, and I just sit back, close my eyes, wait for the day, kind of like take a nap, and I hear a deer blow. Well, the deer found me because my scent concentrated in that area, in that thin layer. The deer caught it. And first thing hits your mind is, boy, I spooked a deer. Well, you spooked one of the older deer. See, I don't know if you noticed, but a young deer, a 2-year-old deer, 3-year-old deer, if you ever walked up on one, they sit, they see you, they hear you, and when they smell you, they're gone. And on the porch up at the cabin, a deer will walk by, a young one will walk by, see me on the porch, hear me on the porch, smells me, it's gone. Your older, mature deer, now, if they see you, hear you, they're gone. If they hear you, smell you, they're gone. If they see you and smell you, they're gone. Your older, mature deer use 2 senses, and your younger deer will use all 3. But the older deer gets, it starts learning. So going to your stand too early, yeah, there is going to the stand too early. So I just hope this helps, and like I say, if you're in the woods, be safe. Rather be safe than sorry. And thanks for coming along, and I'll see you again.